Hello y'all and welcome back to Crystalline. I'm Evil Space Viking and let's get back to it. God damn it, I did it again. Yeah. How am I so bad at this?
Normally that would be a bad thing, but in this case it's okay. We're almost at Bazada.
We just woke up on the train. And odd. Zach gradually wakes up and we all make sure we have all of our things. After another hour or two, the train stops and announces our arrival to Bazada. The sun hangs high in the sky as one by one we step off the train. As soon as I set foot in the city, I am assaulted by the sound of voices. Makeshift stalls line the sides of the roads and alleys as people pack the streets. Traders entice onlookers to view their wares, and customers haggle in heated shouting matches. Are we going to have to travel through that? I blanch at the thought of getting trapped amidst the sea of people like sardines in a can.
We have arrived in Bazada.
This is where we'll find Embermyst? No, she
as
said
I
that.
said,
Right.
It is the closest city to Embermyst.
Pay attention. Okay. Considering the bustle of this place, I find it a little hard to believe that the hidden city is so close. No wonder Leanna seems so surprised. Amelia seems to read my thoughts.
Of course, close is a relative term. We must first traverse some rough terrain and pass through the forest before we find Embermyst.
She points towards the south where I can make out the tips of treetops, and then she glances up at the sky.
Considering only a few hours remain before nightfall, it may be in our best interest to spend the evening here in the city and depart in the morning.
Sounds good. Leanna nods.
Good thinking. This marketplace is so huge. People say you can literally buy your heart's desires here.
Is there something you're thinking of buying?
Nothing in particular, but I would like to check out the stalls. Traders from all over the world gather here to sell their wares. Hoi!
Boy, indeed. I glanced down at my feet and watched the Pongo wiggle excitedly. He cast hungry looks into the crowd. Is there a lot of magic here? I haven't seen this guy so excited since he first tried to eat me. Amelia bends down and scrutinizes him. She pokes him with a finger and the Pongo giggles.
Boy.
I'm going to the inn. I'll meet up with you later.
Before any of us can react, Zach slips into the crowd. Should we go after him? It doesn't matter. Amelia doesn't even blink in Zach's departure. She is so preoccupied with the Pongo, Leanna shakes her head.
No, but since Zach left, I'm going to go too. Should we meet back up at the inn?
Sure. She nods and heads into the crowd. Since everyone else seems to know what they want to do, what do I want to do? Go shopping with Leanna, see what Amelia's up to, check on Zach. Be a loner! Well, at this point, I feel as if Leanna's our best bet. And if I have multiple choices, I head in the same direction. I think Leanna's gone and duck into the crowd, trying not to bump into too many people as I explore the marketplace. I've never seen a place this crowded before. It doesn't feel like I'm walking so much as being pushed by everyone. Despite all the people, I'm fascinated by the market stalls. Merchants sell all different types of merchants sell all different types of merchandise, ranging from clay pottery to magic amulets. As I'm being pulled through the crowd, I see glimpses of blonde hair and white armor. That must be Leanna. I wade through the crowd to see Leanna frozen in place. Hey, Leanna? She blinks at me.
Hey!
How's the marketplace so far?
Really interesting. There's a lot of cool stuff I haven't seen before.
She seems distracted.
Do you smell that?
I breathe in deeply. Smells fruity and sweet. Smells silent but dead. Oh, fruity and sweet. I can't. Oh, that's awesome. An overwhelming sweet smell wafts by on the breeze. Can I save during that? Because I want to. I might just have to hammer out at one point and just go back through all of it. An overwhelming sweet smell wafts by on the breeze. There's really no way I couldn't.
I think it's coming from that stall over there. Come on!
She darts back into the crowd and I quickly follow until we stop at the stall filled with delicate glass bottles. Is this perfume?
Yes, welcome, welcome.
This is what? Yes. I love that. A tanned man in silken robes ushers us closer to the stall. He selects a glass bottle filled with pale pink liquid and offers it to
A
Leanna.
noble scent to match such a noble woman.
Leanna blushes and delicately sniffs the bottle, her eyes wide
Is
in
that
recognition.
extract of spirit orchid?
The man grins broadly and clasps his hands together.
Yes, yes. Very rare.
Mhm.
From the far celestial mountains.
I never expected to find this perfume here.
What is it? Then I reach me the bottle and I take a tentative whiff. Tentative whiff. It smells fruity, like a cross between an apple and a pear. This is a flower? She
The
nods.
spirit orchid. It only grows in the deep forest of the celestial mountain range.
Why is it called a spirit orchid?
The roots are a very pale white. And when it grows, it almost looks like it's floating midair, like a spirit.
That's kind of badass. Same thing. She nods absent-mindedly and continues to hold the bottle. Do you want to get it? Leanna quickly shakes her head.
Oh, sorry. It just reminds me of home. My grandmother used to wear this perfume whenever she left the house. When I was little, that meant taking me down to the market.
She smiles fondly at the memory, but her eyes hold to a hint of
I
sadness.
loved wandering the shops and stalls. It didn't matter if I had nothing to buy. It was a chance to leave the house and be like everyone else.
It sounds like you didn't get to go out much.
It was complicated.
She doesn't offer up any more information and returns to a bottle of a blank spot on the shelf. Although she's been very helpful helping me, I understand in this world Leanna doesn't talk about her past much. I glance at her again. She looks pensively at the bottle, a small crease in her brow. Suddenly a new scent cuts through the floral perfumes. It smells of cinnamon spice. Cookies! Hey Leanna, do you smell that? She jolts out of her thoughts and blinks.
Smell what?
I think something's come from the stall over there. I grin just as she did before and I dart back into the street.
Hey, wait!
We weave through the people before stopping in front of the stalls filled with an assortment of baked goods. I breathe in the heavenly sweetness of sugar and sigh Sorry, what? Contentedly. Alright. Leanna closes her eyes and
It
inhales.
smells so delicious!
And browses the array of cookies and tiny cakes. Leanna gasps.
They have cinnamon parfaits. I love those.
What are those?
They're cinnamon and vanilla custard layers with apricots.
Sounds delicious.
What do you think looks good?
Yeah, that cinnamon parfait you mentioned sounds the bomb. Are
They
you kidding me?
And they're not super sweet either, which is why I like them.
I fish in my pocket for my winnings from yesterday. Today's treats are on me. Leanna looks amused.
Are you sure you want to use your life savings?
I chuckle. Don't worry. You've been very generous towards me ever since Meadow Hill. This is the least I can do to repay you. I know it's not much, but please consider this as a token of my appreciation. Leanna smiles bashfully.
Thank you.
I grin, then pay for the cinnamon parfaits for Leanna and a dessert for myself. Cheers. Hold up my dessert and take a bite. I hold up my desert. As the sweetness melts in my tongue, I can let out a contented sigh. This is better than I imagined. Leanna giggles and lets out an equally happy sigh as she bites into her cinnamon parfait.
This is why I love markets.
I nod in agreement as we return to the street. One of the guards in the marketplace notices Leanna's Mage Guild emblem and pulls her over to talk.
Sorry, I need to take this.
It's not a phone call. Oh. She walks away. We can catch up later then? She smiles.
Okay.
I decide to seek out Amelia. I stand by awkwardly while Amelia mutters to herself. She seems to be in the middle of something and doesn't notice my presence.
Male, adolescent, of a cerulean variant.
She holds out her bracelet and the Pongo blinks at it and then looks back at her. Amelia cocks her head to the side as she observes him. With Amelia's attention still on him, the Pongo scoots closer to the bracelet and looks at her again.
Go on.
He continuously sniffs the bracelet and sticks out his tongue to lick the air. Afterwards, he grins widely at Amelia.
Interesting. Normally, a cerulean Pongo will leave out even the slightest trace of magical residue.
Amelia doesn't have the chance to finish as the Pongo springs on her arms. She fumbles the catch and then pulls the Pongo closer to her chest to stabilize him.
What do you think you're...
Her voice trails off. She looks down at the still smiling Pongo. Amelia blinks as the caution melts away from her face. The corners of her mouth curl up in a smile as she squeezes the Pongo in a cuddle.
Poi poi.
The Pongo wheezes as he squishes against her chest. Should I be? Yeah, that. It looks like they're having a moment. Maybe I should give them some space. I begin to step back from Amelia's gaze falls upon me. She lowers the Pongo.
I was testing a hypothesis.
I wasn't asking. She clears her throat.
Regardless, I am going to the apothecary.
Apothecary? Can't we just heal with magic?
Yes, there are mages who specialize in healing magic, but they use earth magic which neither Leanna nor I possess. As such, you will need to purchase healing items to treat a wound.
Ah, makes sense. Would you like me to go with you?
No, it will be faster if I go alone.
Before I even have a chance to react, she turns on her heel and walks away. As she goes, the Pongo pops his face over her shoulder and gazes longingly at me.
Poi.
As a single tear runs down his cheek. Pongo! Reach out for him as the distance between us grows. Wait a minute. Why is he making that face? He could literally leave at any time and just come back to me. Come back! He turns around and disappears from my view. That sneaky little Pongo. Can I have... Man, just be a loner. I don't know why. I just... Hanging out with Zach seems like it'll just get me in trouble. I'm ready for a little bit of me time. I head to the crowds and appreciate all the marketplace has to offer. After exploring the city, I meet up with the rest of the group back at the inn. Tensions are high as we eat in silence. I think everyone has a mixture of weariness and anxiety for the next leg of our journey. Even the Pongo is strangely silent and obedient. Once we finish eating, we head upstairs and find our rooms. Upon finding her room, Leanna suddenly perks up.
Oh, Amelia, you and I will be sharing a room tonight.
Amelia speaks dismissively.
Naturally, that would be more appropriate than the alternative.
She pauses and looks at Leanna with interest.
Are you insinuating that you would rather share a bedroom with them?
Amelia points to Zach and me.
What? No, of course not.
Oh, my mistake. Of course you could not have met both of them. There aren't nearly enough beds. You must have meant him.
Amelia points at me. Oh shit! Oh shit! She being a wingman right now? Oh, Leanna's face turns pink as she shakes her head.
Amelia, that's not true.
If that is false, then why is your face red?
Oh shit! Wing woman!
Point is, I'd obviously rather share a room with you.
Amelia blinks.
If that is the case, then why even bring it up?
Because I'm excited. It'll be nice to have some girl time.
Amelia studies Leanna, then
I
nods.
concur. Sharing a room has proven to strengthen bonds amidst peers and foster camaraderie.
She's a robot, I swear. You could lop her head off and there'd be circuits.
You mean make friends?
Precisely.
Leanna grins and Amelia smiles back.
Poi.
We all glance down at the Pongo by her feet. Is it my imagination or is he trying to ask us which room he's going to be sleeping in tonight? Amelia snatches him up in her arms.
Pongo needs to spend the night with us tonight. We need him for science.
I'm not even gonna question it. I don't even care. As Amelia slips in the room, Leanna nods rapidly.
Yes, for science.
Okay. Then follows Amelia into the room and slams the door shut. Jesus. There's a moment of silence. A second, I stare at the closed
Is it
door.
just me, or did that seem unusually suspicious to
It
you?
really did. It really did. For some reason, I feel like we missed out by not securing the Pongo. Zach shakes his head.
More like we dodged a blast.
That's true. Don't you mean bullet? Oh,
Bullet?
yeah, he doesn't know what those are. I guess idiots don't translate well here. Never mind. Still battling for what happens second I enter our room and get ready for bed. Yeah, it was weird. Like, it was really weird. Although the train was more comfortable than I expected, it cannot compare to a real bed. As I snuggle into blankets, I soon drift into a restful slumber. You know, I regret not going to see what Zach was doing. I really do. Being alone kind of bummed me out now that I'm in a room with Zach. It's like, man, I like him. He's pretty cool. Zach and I awaken at dawn and silently go about preparing, there's a P there, for the day. As I grab a few items off my bed, I look over at Zach, who's fiddling with his gun. That guy sure gives his discharger a lot of attention. Morning. He glances up and
I'm
nods.
heading down. Meet me there when you're ready.
Sounds good. Zach shoulders his pack and leaves. This is probably the quietest morning I've had so far. It's a little strange. I pack up the last of my things and follow Zach downstairs, where I find him waiting alone. Where are Leanna and Amelia? He shrugs.
Still getting ready, I guess.
Okay. That's unusual. Leanna is generally the first one up. We wait a couple more minutes and before the girls finally show up carrying the pongo with them. Amelia smiles widely at the pongo, who grins back. The two of them seem to be in a good mood. Leanna, on the other hand, looks exhausted. Gang's all here, let's go. Ignore it. Ignore it. They wanted it, that's what they get. Shall we get going? Zach nods.
We should move on so we don't lose any daylight.
Zach looks over to Amelia, who rummages through her bag. Eventually, she pulls out a map. I glance carefully at the detailed mountains and rivers. Suddenly, I'm missing my
We will
GPS.
proceed eastward through the forest adjacent to Bazada. From there, we will travel northbound towards the Sonoa Mountains.
Her finger scrolls across different locations.
Assuming there are no divergences in the course, we should arrive in Embermyst by midday. Any inquiries?
Amelia folds the map and glances at the rest of us. We all look at each
And
other.
let us begin our journey.
She leads the way out of the inn and through the streets of Bazada. Even this early in the morning, the marketplace is still bustling with people. Carefully traversing the streets and alleys, the crowds begin to thin as we reach the city borders. Amelia consults her map and continues out of the city. Without the high cover of the stalls, I blink as a clear blue sky. In the distance, I can see the dark leafy cover of trees. That must be where we're going. Once we reach the forest, I'm surprised by how much shade the leaves provide. The branches are strong and the leaves are thick, exposing pockets of sunshine, you know, like. Amelia keeps the map on hand and there are no trails. Aside from a few other strugglers exploring the woods, I can hear the scurry of woodland animals. With so much cover and so few people, this would be the perfect opportunity for a bandit ambush. Oh, great. I look towards Zach and Leanna, who both seem unconcerned. I suppose it wouldn't make sense for bandits to hide out in a forest which is mostly devoid of people. Why aren't we carrying any we aren't carrying any cargo either. There's less reason to attack us. The deeper we travel into the woods, the thicker the canopy of leaves become. I guess it works. Nearly blocking out all the sunlight. All the other people have long gone. Even the rustle of the bushes have become quiet. The pongo nestles even deeper into Amelia's arms. Leanna shivers and wraps her arms around herself in a hug. You okay? She seems startled and drops her arms, trying to act normal.
I'm fine.
I know exactly what that means. Where I come from, when a girl uses those two words together, it means she's not fine. Lena blinks and lets out a small laugh.
It's nothing really. It's just that the woods are getting darker and darker, and there's a lot more shadows.
Are you afraid of the dark? Oh my god. I'm a psychic. I can just infer things from context clues. Holy shit. Leanna shakes her head.
Nothing like that. But really, you don't have to be concerned. It's nothing.
I'm still not convinced, but I'll trust her. Okay. The forest continues to block out even more light. Soon it becomes so dark that we can barely see what's in front of us.
Are you sure we're going the right way?
Amelia pulls a torch out of her bag in response. She touches her fingers to the tip of the torch and her bracelet glows. Then the torch erupts into flames.
Indeed, there is no need for alarm. The darkness merely indicates we're about to enter the Forest of Sorrows.
Forest of Sorrows?
I'm surprised by Leanna's outburst. Her face is deathly pale.
Do we have to go through here? There must be an alternate route.
Amelia shakes her head.
Embermyst can only be accessed through these woods.
Leanna groans.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
So this is what was bothering her. What's up with the Forest of Sorrows? I mean, it sounds spooky enough, but is it really that bad?
It is rumored that those who venture into the Forest of Sorrows never come out.
Maybe because Embermyst is such a cool place they don't want to leave. They never come out? She nods.
The reason people are unable to escape is because they hear the voices of the loved ones they have lost. They fruitlessly search for their loved ones, losing their way, chasing the wailing of the spectrals.
No! Amelia, stop! We can travel through this stupid place if we have to, but no more of this story stuff that isn't true and can't be true, so it's not true.
Although Lana tries to put on a brave front, her voice grows shriller the longer she talks. Right. Amelia nods.
And let us continue.
I turn to Zach. Do you think all that stuff about the Forest of Sorrows
It
is
doesn't
possible?
matter if I think it's possible, because it's the truth.
Zach! Stop!
As Lana turns away, Zach cracks a bleeding smile before assuming his stomach. You fucking ass! Oh, that's awesome. Trees have now lost their cozy feel completely and look thick, old, and withered. The eerie silence is deafening, and each crunch of leaves beneath our feet reminds me of an inevitability of death and decay. I keep seeing flashes of beady eyes peering amid the branches. The squawk of crows pierces the silence, making me jump. Instinctively, I pick up the pace, as does everyone else. Lana grows increasingly agitated.
Are you sure we're going the right way? I swear that I've seen that.
A cold gust of wind extinguishes the torch. Kya. She grabbed the hold of me. I think it's not black trench coat, so I'm going to assume it's my arm. Lana latches onto my arm and pulls it close to her chest. Her eyes are squeezed shut, and she buries her face against me. The light returns as Amelia relights the torch. Lana peeps an eye open and glances down at my arm, and where it rests in her chest. Her cheeks burn as hot as the torch, and she quickly drops my arm.
Sorry,
She trails off, and as her blush deepens, I bet her nerves from the forest and the awkwardness of grabbing my arm making her flustered. She might be more comfortable holding on to me, but that's equally awkward suggestion. Ask if she wants to grab her and pull her in close. Whatever she let go, just move on. Let me save. Let me save. Damn it. Is there a menu button? Nope. Okay, I'll do that one. You can hold on if you want. Lana almost seems grateful for the offer, but then I notice Zach and
no,
Amelia.
it's okay. The light going out just caught me off guard.
Are you sure? She nods. Okay. Zach waits impatiently a few paces
Can
ahead
we
of us.
move on?
Affirmative.
We all hurry to catch up with Zach and continue through the forest. No wonder people get lost. This place feels like it's endless. Gradually, the darkness fades away as the trees illuminated by an ethereal glow. As the blue and green light chases away the shadows, my mood begins to lift. The trees still look ancient, but full of wisdom and secrets instead of bad omens. Lipongo squirms widely in Amelia's arms. He wriggles free and hops around in glee. As he hops, he opens his mouth wide but loses his balance and blinks as he falls on his head. After a few more confused seconds, she shakes himself and tries again. There must be a lot of magic here.
We have made it through the Forest of Sorrows.
Lana sighs in relief.
Finally.
So Embermyst is close.
The natural concentration of crystal energy would indicate we are on the correct path.
Ah, the crystals must be the blue and green glow this is from. Where the blue
What
and
do you mean, on the correct path? Haven't you traveled here before?
Amelia shakes her head. Of course she
Yeah,
hasn't.
This is my first journey.
She's just full of shit.
You had us travel through the Forest of Sorrows, without knowing for sure that it would lead us to Embermyst?
The robot knows no fear.
That is correct.
Lana gapes at Amelia.
Well, we did make it through. And if we do reach Embermyst, then she would have delivered on her promise.
Zach nods at Amelia, who looks curiously at him. While deep in thought, it looks like she is reworking a previous analysis of him, and then she nods. Lana opens her mouth to argue, but stops.
I suppose it doesn't matter now that we're almost there.
On that conclusion, let us continue.
We trail behind Amelia. The with Pongo blissfully hopping along as she navigates us out of the rest of the forest. Embermyst lies just beyond the edge of the forest, and soon we approach the heavy gates of the city. Two tanned men with leather armor and carved wooden staves inlaid with rough crystals stand guard. Their staves are crossed, the light seems to shimmer as it catches the negative space between the staves. Is that some kind of magic?
Please state your business.
As students from the Mage Academy, we seek an audience with Elder Isim.
They look us over and I shift uncomfortably under their gaze. Their blank eyes seem to burrow deep into my soul. They close their eyes and the red crystal inlaid their staves glow. Translucent glimmers increase. After a few minutes they reopen their eyes and remain silent. I glance at Leanna, who looks back at me. I whisper, "Are they going to let us in?" She shakes her head uncertainly. Zach crosses his arms but otherwise doesn't seem bothered by the situation. Amelia stands confidently and waits patiently. I guess things are going according to our plan. Just when I can no longer bear the silence, a figure steps out from behind the gates. He's an old squirrely man. He's an old squirrely man with a set of glasses which slip down to his hooked nose. He wears a faded and wrinkled open robe.
Elder Isim.
Yes? Who is it?
I am Amelia Estelle from the Mage Academy, and these are my associates.
The Mage Academy, you say?
He adjusts his glasses on his nose and peers at Amelia.
Yes.
One by one, he peers at the rest of us. He barely glances at Zach, but looks at Leanna with interest, and he recognizes her guild emblem. Finally, his gaze lingers on me, although he's trying to place me, but can't.
Well, come on in then. No point in standing around.
The guards break away as he beckons us in, and the translucent shimmers disappear. After we pass through the gates, I look back right before the gates close and see the guards resume their original position. Elder Isom shuffles along the dirt path and leads us through the quaint village. The villagers tend to wear plain, loose-fitting tunics. Aside from the guards, most people don't carry weapons, although many of them do wear simple bracelets embedded with crystals. We soon arrive at a strangely architecturally stable clay hut. As we enter, I covertly touch the walls. Okay. It reminds me of unglazed ceramic tiles. We settle down on wide cushions on the floor.
How were you able to find this place?
I'll tell you that next time. See you guys on the flip side.